Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is a pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 17th of December. My disclaimer, it is for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, I drew a triangle on the on SPX in the post-market charts last night, and this is the equivalent triangle on ES, and this would be wave A, B, C, D. And this is something I was talking about yesterday morning, but we went up and did a perfect wave D, and we're now down in what's a pretty nice looking wave E. Generally speaking, well, 70% of the time, this would fail to reach this trend line here, which is not far below at 61.11. It would fail to reach this trend line here, and then it would break up and retest the all-time high. Now, does it do that all the time? No, about 70% of the time. 30% of the time, it'll do something else, break down. But 70% of the time, that's exactly what it will do. And I got to say, this is a really, really nice triangle. Although that doesn't necessarily make the odds of it breaking up any higher. All right, NQ. Little bull flag forming here, only a small one. RTY. RTY could be setting up a retest of this low. This kind of looks like a bear flag here, actually. So I'm wondering about a retest of the low and then a move up. But I'm still liking the retest of the high here. It is still my hope that RTY and YM are going to take off here, heading up into retest of the highs on RTY and a retest of the high on YM as well. Is there any sign of that so far? No. Although we do have a possible 6-minute buy signal brewing on YM now. Looking at DAX and SDX, DAX has a little level top here, which I had drawn in the arrows on, and they've disappeared. Okay, well, never mind. It's this is broken down with the target down in about the 2090 area. And don't know whether it's going to make that. These aren't really. Oh, and I corrected this too. That is annoying. But all right. Well, I'm still liking the rejection back up, but I mean DAX and the SDX haven't really been moving that strongly with the US market. This looks like a bull flag on the SDX. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at the SPX chart, that is a really, really, really nice classical triangle. It's a beauty. It really is. Now, one thing I would say is, do we have compression as it is forming? Yes, we do. So you can see the triangle forming on RSI as well. That's a nice confirmation. This should be a bull flag. This should break up, and this should retest the all-time high. I'm hoping at the same time that we're going to get some movement to the upside on IWM or Dia, or it may be that we're going to retest that high and just come back down again. We will see how it goes. In terms of the Bollinger Bands, there's not a great deal to say. We are significantly above the daily middle band, which I've got at 60.19. And we've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed, but I'm not really taking that too seriously. Looking at the Qs, we've got another one of those there too. Nice strong day up there, and we are really leaving this old trend line behind. I'm wondering whether we might see a test of this trend line here, which I've got in approximately the 545 area, 545 to 550, and obviously it's rising. I'm wondering if we might reach that, because that is the obvious trend line target on NDX, sorry, on the Qs, so we shall see. RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the hourly chart, showing absolutely no sign of doing anything. Dia, we had an RSI 5 sell signal here, but that's made target. We are still down below the daily middle band and continuing to go down. This is a concern here. I was reading a couple of days ago that the majority of stocks in most of the indices, I'm not sure that included NDX, but on SPX and certainly the other two, had been going down for a very long continuous period while the markets had been going up. And my concern is, and this is something I was talking about in the post last week, that if that continues to be the case, and if this is just tech, then if tech turns, then the whole lot's going to come down. It's we will see how that goes, but it would be nice to see Dia and IWM pick something up. We've certainly got some buy signals fixed on the hourly chart on Dia. We will see RSI 14 buy signal, but so far this has not shown any sign of turning back up. Hang on, I'm just going to draw a line here. Bear with me a moment. Now, we broke that resistance trend line slightly there. Do we have a target? Do we have a pattern here yet? It would be very reassuring to see a falling wedge here. No, obviously no. But we will see how that goes. Could this be a bull flag? Yes. Does it have to be? No. In fact, we've got a possible head and shoulder neckline here in the 49 area. Should we see a breakdown, we might see a large topping pattern form. All right, let's have a look at IWM. Looking at the daily chart, RSI 14 sell signal fixed. We actually saw a better day yesterday. It was a decent little up day yesterday on IWM. Not really impressing anyone so far, but nonetheless, if we go a little lower today, we could actually form a possible RSI 5 buy signal. We will see. Nothing on the hourly chart, nothing on the 15-minute chart, apart from, as with SPX, we had a little RSI 14 sell signal fix last night. The RSI 5 one made target, RSI 14 one is still open, and may well make target at the open. Looking at DAX, we've actually got weak sell signals fixing here. Again, not sure how seriously to take those, probably not particularly. So we will see how that goes. In terms of the pattern setup here, we're through the obvious. There are possible alternatives, quite a few actually. But this one here hasn't been holding. On Nikkei, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback after this spike up into 40.1k. I'm liking the upside here. I'd like to see at least a retest of 40.3, and then if the market can really start picking up a bit of momentum, IWM and Dyer join the party, then we might see 42.4k. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the DX chart. Okay, DX. This is broken up from a flag. It's got a target up here in the 107.7 area, and on the index chart, that target would be in the 108.1 area. Not seeing any particular reason to think it's not going to make that target. ZB has almost made it back to the low. This double bottom has failed. That is no longer a target to the upside, and I'm thinking this could be the second low of a double bottom, but I think it's more likely we're going to actually continue to the downside. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, and I really thought that was going to fix, but it didn't fix last night. It's still, however, brewing. CL, we've got a bit of a retracement here, could have a head and shoulders forming here. I was noting that in terms of this long consolidation we've been in, we're at a high, and we would probably be heading lower next, ideally into about 67 area if we're going to continue the broad triangle consolidation we've been doing. NG, I'd rolled this into February, of course, and it went down 18 cents. There's another 32 cents approximately to be had on rolls into April. And this is a cyclical downtrend, and I would love to see that downtrend deliver because I've got a possible inverted head and shoulder neckline here. The ideal right shoulder low would be in the 1.95 area, and if we knock off 32 for the rolls into April, that puts us currently at about 266. In equivalent on the April chart. So going down another 70 cents, that's not a huge amount on NG. I would love to see that happen. We could form a very nice inverted head and shoulders. GC, this wedge I was talking about yesterday, we have broken down from it. I'm wondering about another leg down. A lot depends on what happens on the dollar. But I'd quite like to see a retest this low and possibly lower than that. And that could give us the low for this precious metals retracement. SI looks like the double bottom has failed, and we're heading back to retest the lows. HG, I was saying we're probably going to retest the lows here too. We haven't quite got to the stage where I think that's likely, but we had a little double top here I had marked in. It's made target, and I'm wondering about the retest the low in the 4.06 area. All right, not much to see on the currencies today, so let's have a look at KC. KC, crop failures, mainly the thing on my mind here. So I'm thinking this is probably a bullish consolidation before it goes up. I'm not seeing much reason for coffee to be going down at the moment. SB still in the incredibly long consolidation, which is now on the verge of dropping off the chart, which means it would be more than 3 months. Is this still a consolidation? I think it is, in all probability. But we will see how it goes. There's not a lot to suggest it isn't a consolidation on the daily chart. On CC, we've got a little 60-minute sell signal trying to fix here. I'm thinking we might see a bit of a retracement. No particular sign of a larger high. ZW. Wondering about another retest this low to set up a smaller double bottom. On corn. Corn, we actually had a possible flag here, but this could be A, B, C. We could see another leg down, maybe a test of the monthly pivot at 435.25. On soy, I was talking about a possible retest of this low and looking fairly compelling. We're actually very close to it now. That could very much be the second low of a double bottom, although ideally we'd head down to 973 to retest an earlier low. On CT, I was looking at a retest of the low here too. We are very close to doing that as well. Lumber, we've still got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, but I got to say this is not looking encouraging for a rally. This has been a long slide. I think mainly probably on the fundamentals side, although I don't tend to look at that terribly often. I would say that there's trouble in China. And obviously that's a huge market. Live cattle, we've got a little double top here, which is broken down, supported by a sell signal. I've got targets basically around the monthly pivot at 187.69. And lean hogs, this still looks like a bull flag forming. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions, of which we have none. I don't think. Nope. So if you've got any, ask quickly. Let's have a quick recap of ES. Okay, ES, we have a beautiful triangle. I posted the SPX equivalent of this last night. It's really nice. Really nice. And 70% this breaks up into a retest of the high. However, we don't just need that to happen. If we are going to see a decent center rally, make some of the upside targets that I've been talking about, we need RTY to participate and we need YM to participate. And at the moment, there's not much sign of either of them doing that. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing on YM, but it's just a potential at the moment. And this kind of looks like a little bear flag. And I'm wondering about a retest of those, set up a little level bottom. But really, it's not enough to retest the all-time high on ES. If we're going to get a really good center rally, and we could still get one of those, then we're going to need some action on IWM and on Dia, and at the moment we're not seeing that. So I'm expecting a retest of the high here on ES, higher on NDX, and I would very much like to see IWM and Dia join the party. We will see whether they can do that. If they don't, then we may be making the second high of a double top with this high retest on ES and SPX. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, my pleasure as always, guys, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.